The House today set to take the next steps on 3 crypto bills. It's going to happen today. Joining us now, Financial Services Committee Chairman French Hill. Good morning. It's good to see you, Congressman.
Good morning. Good to be
Chairman. With you. We heard that, I guess, rumblings that maybe the votes weren't there, and then the president met with some individuals yesterday. Are you confident now the votes are there?
I believe that we do have the votes to advance the Senate Genius Act, which will create the first federally regulated, with clear rules, dollar-backed payment stablecoin, which will unleash a new competitive round in how payments are done when they're used in a blockchain application. We also have the House's work on market structure, which we've worked through the House Ag Committee and the House Financial Services Committee. Strong bipartisan support for that bill. And then finally, Whip Tom Emmer of Minnesota. Mr. Emmer has his bill that blocks the federal government from creating a central bank digital currency through the Fed unless it's done with a specific authorization through Congress. So I believe that the House has the votes for those 3 measures, and the Speaker is working this morning on how they'll be coordinated and presented to the House for consideration.
What's your what do you think? How long? It won't be today. Well, it was supposed to be today.
Well, we expected to vote on clarity this afternoon and also vote on the defense appropriations bill and then vote on Genius, the Senate's stablecoin bill, tomorrow. So right now, I think that, based on the work yesterday of a small number of members taking down the House rule, is still under discussion this morning as to how that'll be sequenced and brought back to the House.
So when what do you think the president said? This is happening again and again, and Mike Johnson has pulled some rabbits out of his hat too. It's fun. It's strange for the rest of us to watch how things work. Do people get things that they want for locally, or the initial reticence to go along with things, and then they finally end up going along with it? What is the Kabuki dance? Can you describe what happened yesterday and what the president said and who he turned around and how that works?
Well, I think some members in the House really would like to see Tom Emmer's work to legislatively block a central bank digital currency being issued, make sure it's turned into law, meaning that the bill doesn't just pass the House and then go over sit in the Senate and not garner 60 votes and then become law. So that is one of the core reasons why they wanted to talk to the Speaker and have some more discussions with President Trump and how to make sure that they could get that bill into law. I think those discussions actually continue. I support the policy. I also would reiterate to your viewers that it's illegal for the Fed to do a central bank digital currency without this bill. So I view this bill as belt and suspenders, directing the Fed that they cannot do a central bank digital currency without a specific authorization of the Congress. I think Article 1 makes that clear, and Jay Powell's testified several times over the past 2 or 3 years to that effect.
Just shifting gears a little bit, Doge was going to do, do you remember what it was going to do? Was it trillion? It was at least hundreds of billions, and we're at $9 billion, and the Republicans can't do a rescission bill for $9 billion. Why? And what? I'm echoing some of the sentiments again of an editorial here, but yeah. Why is it so hard to cut a mere $9 billion, and how is there any hope to ever get 24% of GDP? What are we going to get to, 23.9? And the political capital that it takes just to get to 23.9 it probably loses the midterms?
Every spending program in Washington, no matter how microscopic, has a huge group of constituencies pushing it. You remember President Reagan's admonition, there's nothing so eternal as a temporary government program, and I see it being borne true every day. We have a $2 trillion deficit and over $6 trillion federal budget now, and we're simply trying to tweak $9 billion with a B dollar cut, which, by the way, is only rescinding unobligated funds. repeat, it's only rescinding unobligated funds in fiscal 25, and we're debating right now fiscal 26. So it's important that we got the big, beautiful bill done because it had significant, well over $1 trillion in spending cuts, permanent spending reforms that will lower future spending, and the tax incentives to grow the economy. So that's why budget reconciliation is a powerful tool. We're now debating FY26, and I hope that that number will continue the march back towards post, or I should say pre-pandemic spending approaches. That's what we're trying to do, is claw that back. And I hope that FY26 spending will be at the FY25 levels or below in some categories, even though we're boosting in national defense and homeland security.
French, in your view, the question of whether the president can fire Fed Chair Powell, will it ever come to where we're trying to determine whether that's possible, or is this just jawboning at this point? What are you hearing, and what do you hear from your colleagues about what they would urge the president to do or not do in this case?
Well, look, Chairman Powell's term as chairman is up next May, and I believe President Trump has an appointment to the board that's open in this coming February of 2026. And President Trump's own analysis and that of his Treasury Secretary is that he cannot fire Jay Powell. And as I've said many times on this program, even though we believe in an independent monetary authority and Congress created the Fed back in 1913, it doesn't mean it's not subject to criticism. And every president that I've certainly worked with over the past 40 years has had plenty to say critically about the Federal Reserve and its policy. But I don't see the president firing Chairman Powell. But the president is certainly actively working with Treasury Secretary Bessent on candidates for that position, which will be open next year in 2026.